Hey guys, HW. Back in Sydney for another vid. If you haven't been to my channel before, I'm a Sydney local, has been around the traps for a long time, and I like to showcase the city on regular days throughout the week to give you an idea of what it's like in Sydney. A bit of history, a bit of the past, a bit of the current. And today, as we watch this police car undercover try to get through the traffic, today we're doing Liverpool Street. Now Liverpool Street's a bit longer than the previous one that we did. We did Goulburn Street a couple of videos back. So today we're going to do Liverpool Street. So get yourself a coffee or a cup of tea and come join the trek up Liverpool Street today. The weather in Sydney today, it's going to get up to 26 degrees Celsius. So the weather's really starting to warm up this spring. Not sure we're used to having the weather this warm so early, but nonetheless, it's going to be 31 degrees on Saturday actually. So there'll be a lot of people at the beach. But back to Liverpool Street. In a minute we'll get down to the corner down there and start the trek. And what we're going to do is I'm going to have a look at both modern and historic buildings along the way and point them out and tell you a bit about them. So let's get going. Come and join HW on a tour up Liverpool Street. That's the first building on the corner of Liverpool Street and Harbour Street, or Darling Harbour. That's the Emporio Apartments. If you wanted to know what they cost to live in, for a one bedroom it's $900k plus, and for a two bedroom it ranges between 1.6 and over $2 million. Now let's get down on that corner so that we can say that we walked the whole length of Liverpool Street. Alright, here we go. Kick off just down near Darling Harbour on Harbour Street and get up Liverpool Street. Now we can face up at the next significant building on Liverpool Street, which is the Commerce Building. Beautiful old building, this one. It's constructed in 1911 and it's on the city's heritage register. It was refurbished, this building, in 2011, and now it's retail spaces at the bottom and office space on each of the floors. I had a look at the photos online of this building. Beautiful tall ceilings, high ceilings and cornices and nice big windows. Beautiful building. So you always see more cyclists on the east-west cycleways because they're actually useful, as opposed to the north-south ones. I wanted to make note of this building here as well, on the corner of I think it's Sussex and Liverpool. It's the Ridges Apartments. This is currently being rented out, these apartments, like a 4-star hotel. And you're looking at it anywhere above $200 per night. So on roughly around this time, it's about $217 per night for a twin share. So over Sussex without getting killed. I might as well walk right up to the next building that I want to have a look at, because it's right here. This one here on the corner of Douglas Street and Liverpool Street. It's known as Unison House. Goes all the way down the back there, the back of Douglas Street there. It's all boarded up at the moment. 53 Liverpool Street. It was built in 1901 as a warehouse, and then someone bought it in I think around 2015, and then in 2019 they put some plans to the city to turn it into a boutique hotel, but as you can see, it hasn't happened yet. $152 rooms it was supposed to be. The next significant part of Liverpool Street, and that is all along here, this part of Liverpool Street, on the corner over there at Kent Street. This was known as the Spanish Quarter in Sydney. There was a collection of Spanish restaurants and businesses along here. I remember those, even in the 90s they were still here, but over time they've died off, unfortunately. This building here, across the road, which is known as Kent House, early 1900s, it was an office building. It's now a hotel. But where the big 88 sign is there, or the 88 number, that used to be the Spanish Club of Sydney. And at its height, it had over 2,000 members. But as I just mentioned before, the Spanish Quarter is no more. There's no more Spanish businesses around here as far as I know. So that's a real shame. I have listed here what the hotel costs now. The hotel's around $200 a night at the moment for twin share. Looking back at the old Spanish Club Kent House there, they mentioned some of the other businesses that used to be around. There was Casa Asturiana, which was around here somewhere. There was Don Quixote. There's a Three Wise Monkeys pub over there. I might cross the road to get over to the next location. This is the next place I wanted to look at, the Resch's House Bar, or the Resch's Hotel. This is owned by the Resch's family of Lion Brewery fame, and they still operate this pub today, the family. Originally their founder, Edmund Resch, is a successful Sydney businessman who started the Lion Brewery in 1879. Just looking over the corner here at where this NAB building is now, or the NAB Bank on the corner. They used to be Burger King back in the 80s, do you remember that? Burger King doesn't exist in Australia anymore. It ran foul of another business in Australia, down in South Australia, that was called Burger King. So they couldn't use the name. And then later it became Hungry Jack's. I ate in there a few times when I was a kid, come in here, watch movies with my mates. Up at the Hoyt Cinema, which is where the event cinema is now, just up there. Here's the Central Police Court, built in 1892. Today it's still operated as part of the Downing Centre complex or collection of courts. And it attaches to that Central Police Station out the back of the premises, which we filmed in the last video of Goulburn Street, which I'll link up here now. So it does handle pretty serious criminal matters down here, this court. It's a beautiful building in a beautiful spot. There's World Square across the road, but I covered that in the last vid, which again was Goulburn Street. I'll put the link up here so you can look at it. It's not really listed as being in Liverpool Street, but it is on the corner of Liverpool and Pitt. And that's the old Faze Shoes building, built in 1913. It was once the largest shoe store in the Commonwealth, not Australia, in the entire Commonwealth. The clock that sits there on the corner there, the Faze clock, it's been there since day dot, and still keeps time apparently to this day. Is it really 2 o'clock? And just on the corner that I was just standing, I'm looking up at this magnificent building, which is now the Shark Hotel, which opened in 1998. I knew it as a Coles department store that I actually went to when I was a little kid. It used to have a cafeteria up towards the top, and it used to be Coles and Fossey's in that building there. I used to confuse this with Mark Foy's up the road, which we'll have a look at in a minute. But yeah, it used to be Coles department store. There's only very few Coles now that do anything other than being a supermarket. You get around some of the country locations and you can buy clothing in some of the Coles like the old days. Oh, I forgot to mention, prior to it becoming a Coles in about 1940, it used to be known as Snow's Emporium. Just before I got up to Mark Foy's, I just wanted to point out these old Federation shops here. It's a surprise that they're still here. Surprised it hasn't been knocked down. A couple of Japanese and Korean joints now. Just wanted to mention this glass building right on the corner of Castlereagh Street and Liverpool Street. They used to be a easy internet cafe. Remember when there used to be internet cafes around the place? Same guy that owns the EasyJet in the UK and Europe. Went in there a couple of times, used the old internet. I remember those escalators because it used to be over 2 floors, the place. May have even been on another floor above, but I only went to the first 2 floors. And there she is, the old Mark Foy's department store, which is now the Downing Centre Courts. This building was modelled after a famous building in France, in Paris, and I'll probably butcher this, but I'll just have a go anyway. La Bonne Marche, or La Bonne Marche. It's the name of the building. Gives me the Addams Family vibes, those turrets up the top. But yeah, today it's both local and circuit courts inside that share the floors. I think there's about 40 courtrooms all up. But back in the day when it was a department store, it held the first escalator in Sydney. The first escalator ever installed in Sydney. 1980, the department store closed and then became the courts that you see today, the Downing Centre courts. Ah, there's Museum Station across the road. We've got to go over and have a look at Museum Station. Yeah, so the old Museum Station. 1926 it was open, and this little station's heritage listed as well. But all the greatest delights of this building are inside, so let's get in there. Before we continue down Liverpool Street. Step back out of the museum station now. The building itself is listed as a interwar stripped classical architecture style. Tell you what, it's quite delightful walking along in the sun up Liverpool Street. As we're about to hit the intersection of the Liverpool, Oxford Street and College Street, which becomes Whitlam Square. And it looks like there's a bit of a police operation up here. Hope we can avoid that. So the police have pinned a whole bunch of people up in the park. Take them away now, searching them, handcuffing them. But anyway, what we're here to see now is this massive apartment building here called the Connaught. Very famous. It was the first strata apartment building built in the city. Because back in the ye old days, nobody wanted to live in the city. It was for business only. But this was the first one that was whacked up and put in as a strata building. Strata apartments. It's 30 stories in all. It was completed in 1984. It's got a pool and spa on the rooftop. Some of the famous people that have lived in it over the years: Michael Hutchins of INXS, Kylie Minogue, 60 Minutes and current affairs reporter Jan Avant, film critic Margaret Pomerantz, Barry Crocker and Richard Wilkins. So just some of the celebrities that lived in this building. Don't know whether any of them still do or not, but yeah, the Connaught building. Just in case any of you stay here, it's really in College Street, but I'll film it anyway. That's Hyde Park Plaza, right looking above Hyde Park. You're looking at between $200 and $400 a night, depending on what size room you stay in. How's Oxford Street looking with its newly finished cycle lane up and running? A few cyclists using it. There's another angle of the Connaught building there. I forgot to mention, it was built on the side of the old Paris Theatre. And I'll whack in a photo here if I can find it. Really, the Burdekin Hotel's on Oxford Street, but because we're walking past it, and it does fit onto the corner of Liverpool Street as well, I'll mention it. Good little pub to have a drink in there. Had a few in there over the years. Now that we're over College Street and Oxford Street, we're in Darlinghurst. We're officially in Darlinghurst now. And Liverpool Street continues. These pigeons found a feed on the road. Looks like hard work though. And so as we move into Darlinghurst, you know what that means? That means we get to see all these delightful terrace houses. Given the proximity to the city, you guessed it. And you're looking at a few million for one of these. Can't believe how fast I'm running out of battery. It's got to be the warmer weather that does it. Here's the next place. This is the Hub, which was previously known as Holdsworth House. It's a 5-level heritage listed building. It's called the Hub now because it's a co-working space. So there's a whole bunch of offices in there, shared space, shared facilities. Just watch out for this van back here. I'll stand on the footpath. But yeah, it doesn't look as impressive up close as it did on the net. Here's some more delightful Darlinghurst terrace houses across the road here. I wonder what it's like to live in one of those so close to the city. You can just walk up the road and you're in the heart of it. Right on the Johnny Horner here, looks like a bit of an old warehouse conversion. Must be impressive looking inside. To pass over Riley Street. There's some even older terraces over there with the tin roofs. Gave us a wave, that tradie. Just waiting to walk over Crown Street. Look at those little old terraces up the road there. There across on the corner there is what's known as the East Village Hotel these days. Originally it was called the Tradesman's Arms, and it was built in 1876 and then rebuilt and refurbished in 1918. This is Palmer Street that we're standing in now, looking across at the corner of Liverpool Street. It was a notorious underworld haunt back in the 1920s, and it was famously frequented by a queen of prostitution around these areas by the name of Tilly Devine, and it earned its nickname as the Blood House back in the day for all the violent incidents it had with razor gangs, and that's a whole history on itself. Look up Tilly Devine and Darlinghurst if you're interested. That'd need a whole video by itself. Apparently it's got a rooftop bar up the top as well. This building here right on the corner built atop the massive big sandstone slab. I was trying to find some details on it online, but I couldn't find it. But I will spend a bit more time this Savo and see if I can find what it's called. Because it's pretty impressive how it's been built on top of the rock there. That'll give you an idea how long Liverpool Street is, where you can see that building there with the green logo and World Tower behind it. That's the start of the city there. And it's quite hilly just here, but we'll keep traipsing along. Look at this lovely old sandstone house, set of apartments here right on the corner. I'd say back in the days it was a house. It's probably been split up since. Got some bay windows up the top too. On the corner of Forbes Street. This is Darling Street here, and at the end of the street is the Australian producer, movie director Baz Luhrmann's old house. He doesn't live there anymore, he sold it. A sandstone fence down there. I'll link the video where I went and looked at that one day, if I remember. It's about to cross over Darlow Road or Darlinghurst Road, and there's the Darlow Bar and the Royal Sovereign Hotel. It's really on Darlinghurst Road, so I'll just mention it and then we'll walk past it. Just here Victoria Street now, and there's the Green Park Hotel over there. It's a nice looking building. Not far from St Vincent's Hospital here. That's a nice looking building on the corner there, all white. And as we pass by the Darlinghurst Public School, I know that we're getting a bit closer to the end of Liverpool Street proper. Well, let's keep going to the end. Some more terraces dotted along Liverpool Street. Beautiful walking along in the shade here with the breeze blowing on me. Just cruising along with the wind in my hair. Oh, we're almost there. We can see the sign that shows us the way to Rushcutters Bay, and this is Boundary Street, which is apparently the end of Liverpool Street. But I'll show you in a minute something that's a bit contentious. There was a question for me when I looked on the map that this little street up here sort of cuts Liverpool Street, and then Liverpool Street continues again. So I don't know whether that's just a coincidence, but let's explore it. Now we've definitely come to the end of Liverpool Street as we meet McDonald Street. We're not far from... Look at that delightful little coffee shop over there. Should I? Go on then. Yeah, Cafe C&M in this lovely old sandstone building. Alright, let's give it a crack. Delicious. Tell you what, walking back up the hill from Darlinghurst, I'm sweating like a linebacker now. It's so hot. So I'll end the video here in the shade. Niners, 3 wins out of 3. Dominating. The video is over.